Cowboys Nation, buckle up, because we may be looking at one of the most jaw-dropping developments in recent NFL memory. Yes, you read that title right. Terry McLaurin, the heart and soul of the Washington Commanders receiving corps, could be making his way to the Dallas Cowboys in what would be nothing short of a stunning, landscape-shifting move. Just imagine for a second number 17, known for his crisp routes, sure hands, and consistent production, lining up opposite CeeDee Lamb in the Cowboys' high-octane offense. That thought alone is enough to make any defensive coordinator lose sleep. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's dive into how we even got to this point, what could lead to such a monumental trade between two NFC East rivals, and most importantly, what this means for the Dallas Cowboys as they look to end their Super Bowl drought and return to glory. First off, let's acknowledge who we're talking about here. Terry McLaurin isn't just another receiver. This guy has been the lone bright spot on a struggling Washington team for the last several seasons. Drafted in 2019, third round, out of Ohio State, he immediately outplayed his draft position and has gone on to rack up over 1,000 receiving yards in nearly every season since. He's dealt with rotating quarterbacks, inconsistent offensive systems, and a franchise that has undergone more off-the-field drama than most teams deal with in a decade. And yet, he's produced. He's shown up. He's led. So, how does a player like that, a cornerstone guy, a locker room leader, and a fan favorite, end up being mentioned in trade rumors to the Dallas Cowboys? It all starts with contract tension and timing. McLaurin, now entering what many would consider the prime of his career, has been vocal about wanting a contract that reflects his value not just to the team, but compared to what other top-tier receivers are earning across the league. And you can't blame him. With wide receiver salaries ballooning in recent years and guys like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase setting a new market, McLaurin naturally wants to cash in while he still can. But here's the catch: Washington, despite saying all the right things publicly, has reportedly been hesitant to meet his price behind closed doors. They've got a young quarterback in Jaden Daniels they want to build around, they've added other weapons, and some in the front office believe McLaurin, now pushing 30, may be past his peak soon. That's the business side of football, folks, cold and calculated. So when McLaurin's camp began floating the possibility of a trade request if no deal was reached, that's when the real buzz started. And guess who's been quietly monitoring the situation? The Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys have been sniffing around the receiver market for a while. Sure, they have CeeDee Lamb, who is a certified stud, and Brandon Cooks, who brings speed and experience. But after that, things get murky. Michael Gallup has never quite returned to form after his injuries, and while there's hope for some of the young guys like Jalen Tolbert, this is a team with Super Bowl aspirations. They don't want to just hope someone develops. They want weapons now. And Terry McLaurin is exactly that. He's not just a guy who puts up numbers, he's the kind of player who can tilt the field, who can win one-on-one battles consistently, and who can draw coverage away from your other stars. Picture this: CeeDee Lamb in the slot, McLaurin on the outside, Cooks stretching the field deep. That's a nightmare for defenses, and more importantly, it gives Dak Prescott a stable of reliable targets that can elevate his play and reduce the burden that's often unfairly placed on his shoulders. But wait, let's talk about the elephant in the room: trading within the division. When have the Cowboys and Commanders, two bitter NFC East rivals, ever agreed on anything, let alone a trade of this magnitude? It's extremely rare, almost unthinkable, which is why if this move does happen, it truly qualifies as a stunning development. The fact that these two franchises would be willing to put their rivalry aside for a transaction tells you just how complicated things have gotten in Washington and how determined Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office might be to go all in this year. Because make no mistake, this would be an all-in move. You're not trading for Terry McLaurin to build for the future. You're trading for him because you believe the window is open right now. With an aging offensive line, a veteran quarterback, and a defense led by stars like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, Dallas doesn't want to wait around anymore. They've been on the cusp for years, knocked out in the divisional round too many times, and fans are tired of the almost seasons. McLaurin could be the piece that finally pushes this team over the top. Now, from Washington's perspective, the decision would be gut-wrenching but possibly practical. If they've decided they're not going to give McLaurin the deal he wants, and if there's legitimate concern about his long-term durability or fit with the current offensive scheme, then trading him for premium assets makes some sense. Especially if Dallas comes to the table with a serious offer, think a second-round pick, maybe even a future first if they're feeling aggressive, plus a depth player or two to sweeten the deal. It would be painful for the fan base, no doubt, but if it helps them rebuild around their young quarterback and adds future flexibility, it could be rationalized. But let's bring it back to Dallas. What are the risks here? Number 1, salary cap. McLaurin's contract won't be cheap, and Dallas is already navigating several big deals, including ones for Dak, Parsons, and Lamb. You're going to have to make some tough financial decisions, maybe restructure some deals, maybe even say goodbye to a fan favorite in the near future. Number 2, chemistry. As good as McLaurin is, chemistry doesn't always happen overnight. There's a learning curve with the playbook, route timing with the quarterback, and finding your role in a new offense. It's possible, even likely, that it takes several weeks for McLaurin to fully integrate. And number 3, what if it backfires? What if McLaurin gets hurt? What if he doesn't mesh well? What if the Cowboys give up key draft capital and then fall short again in the playoffs? These are the types of gambles that make or break front offices. But for all those risks, the potential upside is enormous. McLaurin is the kind of player who can take the top off a defense on one play and convert a critical third down on the next. He's a chain mover, a leader, and a big-time performer. And with the Cowboys facing pressure from every direction, fans, media, even their own locker room to finally break through in the postseason, this kind of aggressive move might be exactly what's needed. And let's not forget the psychological impact this would have across the division. Imagine the headlines: Cowboys steal McLaurin from Commanders. It sends a message. It rattles other teams. It tells the Eagles and Giants and, yes, even Washington, that Dallas isn't playing around anymore. They're coming for the NFC, and they're doing it with a vengeance. Think about how that affects morale. Think about the locker room boost. Players notice these things. When your front office goes out and makes a bold move like this, it tells the entire team that the organization believes in the current roster and is willing to invest to win now. That's powerful. That can galvanize a team in ways that no speech or practice ever could. So where does that leave us? Well, as of right now, nothing is official. McLaurin is still a Commander, and the Cowboys haven't made any public statements indicating a trade is imminent. But behind closed doors? You can bet conversations are happening. The Cowboys are known for their bold moves, and Jerry Jones is never shy about making headlines. If he smells opportunity, if he believes this could be the missing piece, don't be surprised if something massive goes down in the coming days or weeks. So Cowboys Nation, keep your eyes peeled. This story is far from over, and if things break our way, we could be welcoming one of the best receivers in the NFL into the star. Let me know in the comments what you think. Should the Cowboys go all in for McLaurin? Is he the missing piece for a Super Bowl run? Or should we stay patient and trust the process with the talent we already have? Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the breakdown, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of Cowboys news. Until next time, stay bold, stay blue, and as always, how about them Cowboys?